Get the guitar out. Alrighty. Let's make sure that we are streaming. Yes, we are live. Alrighty. Here we go. We'll do, I guess, Jiv Jango to wake you all up. Just tune it. Oops. Okay, ready to go. Jiv Jago, Jiv Jago, Gorachanda Pole. Jiv Jago, Jiv Jago, Gorachanda Pole. Gojanitra, Yomaya. Sachirako, Godanitra, Yamaya, Bisachirako, Mahajibo, what I say, Shamsara, Pisarati, Ruhile to me, I fit your above Majiba, what do I say? Samsara, Vichare, Ruhile to me, I fit your above. I knew of the time. I knew of the time. I Manuara, Gaya Chaitanya, Ami Bina, Manuara, Gaya Chaitanya. Shoti Maya, Nasi Barla, Shoti Maya, Nasi Bar, Lagi, Nama Mantra, Lago to me, Mati, Makati Vino, Charade Boria, Makati, Charade Boria, say Hari, Nama Mantra, Lohi Lama Kia, Jeev Jako, Jeev Jako, Go Jana, Bole, Udanitra, Yomaya, Isachirako, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahansa Paravatikacharya. Austin Sacha Shiva. His divine grace. Abhaya Chanananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Thakura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Mathuram Ki Jai, Jagannath Swami Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Putale, Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamani, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pacharni, Nivashesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya, Deshatarne, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, okay, let me read the translation. Lord Gaurachandra is calling. Wake up, sleeping soul. Wake up, sleeping soul. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the cycle of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. I am your only true friend. Other than me, what friend do you have? I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you suffer. Take this great chant for deliverance, Maha Mantra, the names of Hari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, falling at the Lord's lotus feet, takes shelter of the Hari Nama Mantra, the Lord's holy names. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. So now we'll continue with our reading of the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Again, it's an ecstatic section. I always say that. Every section is ecstatic. So, with that in mind, Om Gana Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur and Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual masters, divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. Okay, so let's share the screen. Let's set up the... All right. So, Rama, the goddess of fortune, engages in the service of these lotus feet with full attention. The thousand-headed Ananta sings the glories of these lotus feet. Of course, it's in reference to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Brahma always worships these lotus feet, and the Shrutis, Smritis, and Puranas glorify these lotus feet. These lotus feet covered the entire Satyaloka, and the head of Bali Maharaj became glorified by the touch of these lotus feet. The forceful flow of the Ganges that is sustained by Lord Shiva emanates from these lotus feet. The intelligence of Advaita surpasses that of millions of Brihaspatis. He knows perfectly well the glorious position of Lord Chaitanya. While glorifying the Lord's lotus feet, Advaita floated in tears of ecstasy and then fell flat at the lotus feet of the Lord. Shri Gauranga Rai, the supersoul of all living entities, placed his lotus feet on the head of Advaita. As soon as the Lord placed his lotus feet on the head of Advaita, there arose a tumultuous vibration of Jai, Jai. On seeing that wonderful sight, everyone was overwhelmed and began chanting, Hudi, Hudi. Some of them rolled on the ground, and some of them clapped their hands. Others cried loudly while embracing each other. The heart's desire of Advaita and his wife was fulfilled, for they attained the lotus feet of the Lord as they had previously desired. Lord Vishwambara instructed Advaita, "Oh, Nada, dance in my kirtan." Being instructed by the Lord, Advaita Goswami began to dance in various devotional moods. As the most enchanting sound of kirtan arose, Advaita Prabhu danced before Lord Gaurachandra. One moment he danced madly, and another moment he danced sweetly. One moment he held many straws between his teeth. One moment he whirled about, one moment he stood up, and another moment he rolled on the ground. One moment he sighed deeply, and another moment he fell unconscious. According to the mood of the kirtan, he happily danced in various ways. In the end, he remained in the mood of a servant. No one could understand his inconceivable glories. When he rushed up to the Lord and saw Nityananda, he smiled while raising his eyebrows. He smiled and said, "Oh, Nitai, it is good that you have come. For so long I could not see you. Today I will bind you, then where will you go?" Sometimes Advaita addressed Nityananda as Prabhu, and sometimes he called him a drunkard. That means he's mad and drunk in love of Krishna. Nityananda Rai smiled at the behavior of Advaita. They were actually one, but they became two for the sake of Krishna's pastimes. So that's also one of my favorite verses. Advaita Chuta Nadi Rananta Rupam Adyam Purana Pursham Navyovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purasham Tamaham Bhajami. The Lord has many infinite expansions, but they're all the same person acting in different ways simultaneously. We've already talked about that many times before. So, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, and Lord Chaitanya are the same person, but just acting in different ways simultaneamente. I've already described how Nityananda joyfully serves Lord Chaitanya in various forms. In some forms he advises the Lord, in some forms he meditates on the Lord, in some forms he becomes the Lord's umbrella or bed, and in some forms he sings the glories of the Lord. All the most fortunate souls know very well that there's no difference between Nityananda and Advaita. All their pastimes of quarreling together that you see are the inconceivable sporting of the Lord. Very interesting. The exchange of love between these two resembles the exchange of love between Ananta and Shankara, for they are both dear forms of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. If one who does not understand their quarrels takes the side of one and respects him, while criticizing the other, he is vanquished. As all the Vaishnavas watched Advaita's dancing, They were overwhelmed and merged in an ocean of bliss. When the Lord ordered Advaita to stop dancing, he immediately stopped, respecting the Lord's order. The Lord gave his own garland to Advaita and then smiled and said, "Ask for a benediction, ask for a benediction." Advaita did not reply, so Vishwambara repeatedly said, "Ask, ask." Advaita then said, "What more can I ask? I have already received whatever I desired. I have danced before you. Now all my desires have been fulfilled. O Lord, what can I ask for? What more is there? I have directly seen your incarnation. What should I ask for? You know well what I lack. What is there that you do not see with your transcendental vision?" Lord Vishwambara rolled his head and said, "I have manifested because of you. I will preach the chanting of the holy name from house to house, so that the entire universe will dance as they sing my glories. I will distribute that devotional service for which personalities headed by Brahma, Shiva, and Narada undergo austerities. This I assure you." Advaita replied, "If you will distribute devotional service, then also give it to the less intelligent persons, including women and Shudras. Let all the sinful people who are proud of their education, wealth, high birth, and austerities, and those who place obstacles in the path of your devotees and your devotional service, burn to death. And let all others, including the dog-eaters, dance while singing your holy names and qualities." Hearing Advaita's statement, the Lord roared loudly and said, "Whatever you say will be fulfilled." The entire world is witness to these words, for the Lord's mercy was distributed to the foolish and fallen. Even the dog-eaters are dancing and singing the glories of the Lord, while the Bhattas, Mishras, and Chakravartis are engaged in criticism. Because these are names of people who are, let's say, more materially educated. Actually, it says in the Vedic literatures, in many cases, demons take birth in Brahmin families. Not in every case. Someone who studies the scriptures and shaves his head may nevertheless lose his intelligence, for one who blasphemes Nityananda is certainly doomed. The entire world received love of God by the mercy of Advaita Prabhu. All these pastimes are described in the Majja Khanda. Only Saraswati, the mother of the universe, knows everything about the loving conversations between Lord Chaitanya and Advaita Prabhu. The goddess manifests on everyone's tongue and unlimitedly sings the glories of Lord Chaitanya. I offer my respectful obeisances at the feet of all the Vaishnavas, so they may not consider my offenses. Advaita Goswami and his wife became jubilant, and on the order of the Lord they remained there. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends our English translation of the Gaudiya Bhasha commentary on Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Majja Khanda, chapter 6, entitled The Lord's Meeting with Advaita Acharya. And chapter 7 is entitled The Meeting of Gadadhara and Pundarika. So that's Pundarika Vidyanidhi. So this is a very interesting story. We're going to skip over the chapter summary, which is probably a little lengthy because there's a lot of information in this chapter. Here we go. Lord Chaitanya, the reservoir of transcendental qualities, is dancing wonderfully. Although I am without qualification, Providence has given me this touchstone. Without provocation. Qualification, sorry. Providence has given me this touchstone. All glories to Sri Gaura Sundara, the life and soul of all. All glories to the abode of Nityananda and Advaita's love. All glories to the life and soul of Sri Jagadananda and Sri Garva. All glories to the wealth and life of Pundarika Vidyanidhi. All glories to the Lord of Jagadish and Gopinath. All glories to the associates of Lord Gaurachandra. In this way, Sri Gauranga Rai constantly enjoyed various pastimes with Nityananda and Navadvip. All the devotees accompanied Advaita in dancing and loudly chanting the names of Krishna. Nityananda continued to reside in the house of Srivasa Pandit. He was constantly in the mood of a child and did not manifest any other mood. He would not eat rice with his own hands. So Malini, that's Srivasa Thakura's wife, fed him as her own son. And he was really old. He was older than Lord Chaitanya, something like 20-something years older than Lord Chaitanya. Now here the description of Sri Vidyanidhi's arrival. His name was Pundarika, and he was very dear to Lord Krishna. In order to glorify the eastern tract of land known as Chattagrama, the Supreme Lord induced him to appear there. That's Pundarika Vidyanidhi. Although the Lord personally appeared in Navadvip, he sighed deeply because of not seeing Vidyanidhi there. One day after dancing, Guru Rai sat down and cried loudly as he exclaimed, because remember, Rai means like king, "Oh, my father Pundarik! Oh, Pundarik, my father, oh friend, when will I see you, my dear father?" Pundarik Vidyanidhi was such a dear associate of Lord Chaitanya. Guru Rai manifested many such devotees in this world. The devotees could not at all understand why the Lord cried while calling his name. They said, that Pundarik refers to Krishna. But hearing the name Vidyanidhi, they began to consider. They understood that he must be a dear devotee of the Lord. When the Lord regained his external consciousness, they all inquired from him, "O Lord, for which devotee do you cry? Please tell us the truth. Let us have the good fortune of knowing him. Please tell us where he was born and what are his activities." The Lord replied, "You are all indeed fortunate, for you have developed a desire to hear about him. All his characteristics are most wonderful. Simply by hearing his name, the entire world becomes purified. His external appearance is just like a materialist. No one can recognize him as a Vaishnava. He took birth in Chattagrama and is a greatly learned Brahmana. He is expert in following his religious duties and is honored by all. He constantly floats in the ocean of devotional service to Krishna. His body is decorated with the symptoms of ecstatic love, like tears, shivering, and hairs standing on end. He does not take bath in the Ganges, for he fears touching her waters with his feet. He takes darshan of the Ganges only at night." Whew. So, wow. This is like real humility. And I explained that to the devotees many times when we go to Radhakund. Of course, Radhakund, phew. I said, well, not that I'm humble or anything, but I just say I do not go full body into Radhakund because I do not want to touch Radhakund with my feet. But I do go into the Ganges. I'm not that humble. Many people disrespect the Ganges by rinsing their mouths, brushing their teeth, and washing their hair in her waters. I definitely wash whatever hair I have when I go swimming in the Ganges. On seeing these activities, he feels pain at heart. For this reason, he goes to see the Ganges at night when no one's there. Now, here, another of his wonderful characteristics. He drinks the water of the Ganges before worshiping the Lord. Then he worships the Lord and executes his other regular duties. In this way, he teaches religious principles to all learned scholars. He lives in Chattagrama, yet he also has a house here. He will come soon. Then you will all see him. Or on seeing him, none of you will immediately recognize him. Rather, you will simply consider him a materialist. I cannot have peace of mind without seeing him. Therefore, all of you attract him to come here. After speaking in this way, the Lord became overwhelmed and began to cry and call out, "Oh, Pundarika, oh Father." Now, you should understand that Pundarik Vidyanidhi is Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu is the father of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani is known as Vrishabhanu Nandini. That means the daughter of Vrishabhanu. The Lord cried loudly. Only he knows the glories of his devotees. Lord Chaitanya alone knows the glories of his devotees. Only one whom he favors may also know them. In this way, the Lord attracted Pundarika, who thus decided to visit Navadvip. He came with many servants, brahmanas, disciples, devotees, and paraphernalia. He came and secretly resided in Navadvip, where everyone saw him as a gross materialist. None of the Vaishnavas knew him except Mukunda, who immediately recognized him. The learned Dr. Shrimakunda knew him, for they were both born in Chittagrama. The Lord was unlimitedly happy to know about the arrival of Vidyanidhi, but the Lord did not disclose this fact to any of the Vaishnavas. Pundarika appeared to be just like a materialist. Only Mukunda and Vasudev Dutt knew the glories of his ecstatic love. Gadadhara Pandita was very dear to Mukunda. He was a constant companion of Mukunda. Whatever news Mukunda heard, he would tell Gadadhara. One day he said, "Today a wonderful Vaishnava has arrived." Oh, Gadadhara Pandita listened carefully. "Would you like to see a Vaishnava?" "Today I will show you a wonderful Vaishnava, so that you may think of me as your servant." On hearing this, Gadadhara became very pleased. They immediately departed while chanting the name of Krishna. Vidyanidhi Mahashaya was sitting in his house when Gadadhara arrived before him. Gadadhara Pandita offered obeisances to Pundarik, who in turn offered him a seat. Vidyanidhi asked Mukunda, "What is his name, and where does he live?" "I can see that his body is effulgent due to his devotion to Vishnu. His appearance and nature are both enchanting." Mukunda said, "His name is Sri Gadadhar. He is fortunate because since his childhood he's been detached from family life. He is known as the son of Madhava Mishra. All the Vaishnavas have great affection for him." So it's interesting, Pundarik Vidyanidhi is asking about Gadadhar, who happens to be Radharani. But this is Yogamaya. He is constantly engaged in devotional service and always associates with devotees. On hearing your name, he came to see you. Vidyanidhi was greatly satisfied to hear this and began to speak to him with great respect. The way Pundarika Mahashaya sat there, it appears as if he were a prince. He sat on an opulent reddish couch decorated with brass armrests. There were 3 opulent canopies above his head. Next to him, there was an opulent bed covered with fine silk cloth and having pillows on all sides. Ooh. There were 5 or 7 big and small water pots. There was an opulent brass container filled with already prepared pan. So generally, Vaishnava Vairagya Vidya, the Vaishnava wants to be rather renounced. So an interesting thing that happened to me last time I was in New Orleans. In New Orleans, in the room I stay in, there's a big bed. And so, big soft bed. And I said, "I am not staying on this." And so I just put some cloth on the floor and got ready to sleep on the floor. And they got so upset, they brought a smaller mattress for me. And they insisted, but actually I wanted to sleep on the floor. 2 opulent spittoons were on his side. He smiled as he chewed pan and looked at his lips. He looked at his lips, obviously there's a mirror. 2 persons constantly fanned him with opulent fans made from peacock feathers. Ooh. His forehead was decorated with sandalwood paste, tilak and dots of sandalwood paste mixed with vermilion. What can I say about the wonderful style of his hair, which was anointed with fragrant amalaki oil? By the influence of devotional service, his body appeared like that of Cupid. Anyone who did not know him would certainly consider him a prince. In front was a wonderful palanquin equipped with all accessories. By his paraphernalia, he appeared to be a materialist. In other words, when he went somewhere, he wouldn't walk. He would just have at least 4 people carry him. So cushions on it. On seeing his materialistic form, some doubt arose in the heart of Sri Gadadhar. Gadadhara Mahashaya had been renounced from the time of his birth, so he developed some doubts about Vidyanidhi. He is a great Vaishnava. His appearance with his opulent foodstuffs, opulent dress, and opulent hairstyle is completely like that of a materialist. Gadadhar had good faith in him after hearing about him, but now that he saw him, that faith was lost. Understanding the heart of Gadadhar, Sri Mukunda happily began to reveal Vijayanidhi's glories. By the mercy of Krishna, nothing is unseen or unknown to Gadadhar, for Krishna is the Lord of Maya. Then Mukunda, who sweetly sings the glories of Krishna, began to recite some verses glorifying devotional service. The witch Putana mercilessly kills children. She tried to kill the Lord with poison, yet the Lord awarded her the position of mother. How can a foolish person not worship such a merciful Lord? Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breasts? Putana was always hankering for the blood of human children, and with that desire she came to kill Krishna, but because she offered her breast to the Lord, she attained the greatest achievement. As soon as Vijayanidhi heard this description of devotional service, he began to weep. The unprecedented flow of tears from his eyes appeared like an incarnation of Ganga Devi. All the symptoms of ecstatic love, like tears, shivering, perspiration, losing consciousness, hair standing on end, and loud shouting simultaneously manifest in its body. He roared loudly while exclaiming, "Go on reciting, go on reciting." He could not remain steady and fell to the ground. He broke all the surrounding paraphernalia by the kicking of his feet. Nothing was spared. What happened to the opulent pond container and the nicely prepared pond? What happened to the water pots that we use for drinking water? Where did the bed fall by the kick of his feet? Out of ecstatic love, he tore apart his opulent clothes with his two hands. What happened to his opulently styled hair as he rolled on the ground and cried profusely? "O Krishna, O my Lord, O Krishna, O my life and soul, you have made my heart hard like wood or stone." He lamented and cried loudly, "In your present incarnation I have been deceived." He fell to the ground and rolled about so forcefully that everyone thought, "Have his bones be broken to pieces." He shivered so vigorously that out of ecstatic love that even 10 men could not hold him still. Clothes, bedding, water pots, bowls, and all other paraphernalia were smashed by the kicking of his feet. There was not a single item spared. All of his servants then pacified him and tried to recover whatever was left. After revealing his ecstatic love for some time in this way, he remained lying there unconscious in ecstasy. Vijayanidhi was completely merged in an ocean of bliss with no symptom of life manifested in his entire body. After seeing this, Gadadhar was struck with wonder and became somewhat worried. I have disrespected such a great personality. At what inauspicious time did I come to see him? So Gadadhar is thinking, I committed a mad elephant offense in my mind. Gadadhara Pandita embraced Mukunda with great satisfaction and bathed him in tears of love. "O Mukunda, you have acted as my real friend, for you have shown me the great devotee Vijayanidhi Bhattacharya." So in other words, you really can't tell a Vaishnava by his external symptoms, the way he looks. You really can't tell. He may be hiding himself, because sometimes devotees hide themselves behind different guises. Like Lord Rishabhadev, he acted like a Navaduta. Lord Nityananda, he acts like a Navaduta. So you can't really tell. But you can tell by the way someone speaks and then how they respond ecstatically to Krishna Katha. I was able to avoid a great danger because you were with me. That's a great danger, to commit an offense against a devotee. On seeing his materialistic appearance, I considered him a materialistic Vaishnava. You understood my mind and revealed the devotional mood of Pundarika. I have committed an offense, so please have him bestow mercy on me so that my offense is nullified. All devotees in the path of devotional service must have a spiritual master. So far, I do not have an instructor. My desire is to take mantra initiation from him. If I become his disciple, then he will forgive all the offenses that I have committed by disregarding him. After contemplating this way, Gadadhara expressed to Mukunda his desire to take initiation. Gadadhara expressed, yeah. Hearing his proposal, Mukunda was greatly satisfied. He glorified that proposal by saying, "Very good, very good." After 6 hours, the most grave Vijayanidhi regained his external consciousness and sat down peacefully. Gadadhara Pandit's unlimited tears made his entire body wet. Seeing this, Vijayanidhi Mahashaya was most pleased. He embraced Gadadhara and held him to his chest. As Gadadhara stood there in awe and reverence, Mukunda revealed Gadadhara's mind. Doubts arose in his mind when he saw your behavior and opulence. In order to atone for his offense, he has now decided to take initiation from you. He is a renounced devotee of Vishnu, and since his childhood, he has shown the experience of a mature person. Moreover, he is a qualified son in the family of Madhva Mishra. He has been a constant companion of the Lord since his childhood. Therefore, Pundarika and Gadadhara make the perfect guru and disciple. Please select an auspicious day to initiate him into the chanting of the mantra of your worshipful Lord. On hearing this, Pundarika Vidyanidhi smiled and said, "I have obtained a precious jewel by the arrangement of Providence. I will certainly initiate him. There is no doubt about it. By the good fortune accumulated in many births, one attains such a disciple. The most auspicious moment will be found on the next Dwadasi of the waxy moon. Your desire will be fulfilled on this day." Hearing this, Gadadhara happily offered him obeisances. Taking leave of Mukunda on that day, Gadadhara went to see Lord Gauranga. Lord Vishwambara was unlimitedly pleased to hear of the arrival of Vijayanidhi. One night, Vijayanidhi Mahashaya secretly came to see the Lord. He left everyone behind and came alone. As soon as he saw the Lord, he fell unconscious. Out of ecstasy, he fell unconscious to the ground even before he offered obeisances to the Lord. After a while, he regained external consciousness and roared loudly. Then he wept as he condemned himself. "O Krishna, my life and soul! O Krishna, my child! How much suffering you are giving this offender! My child, you have delivered the entire world. I alone have been cheated." There was no Vaishnava that did not recognize the position of Vijayanidhi. When he cried, everyone cried. Knowing that his dearmost devotee had arrived, Vishwambar, who was most affectionate to his devotees, respectfully got up and embraced him. The Lord cried while exclaiming, "O Father Pundarika, today I have seen my father with my own eyes." Then all the devotees came to know about the arrival of Vijayanidhi Goswami. Then all the devotees began to cry in ecstasy. That scene was most wonderful and cannot be described in words. Shri Gaurasundara held Vijayanidhi to his chest and soaked his entire body with tears of love. All the devotees could understand that he was most dear to the Lord. They displayed love, awe, and intimacy for him. Vijayanidhi did not release the Lord from his chest. It appeared that the Lord had merged with his body. Gaurachandra remained there motionless for 3 hours. Thereafter, the Lord regained his external consciousness and chanted the names of Hari. Today, Lord Krishna has fulfilled my desires. Today, I've attained that which is beyond my dreams. After being introduced to all the Vaishnavas, Pundarik joined them in Kirtan. His name is Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Providence has created him to distribute loving devotional service. While describing his qualities in this way, the Lord raised his arms and loudly chanted the name of Hari. The Lord said, "Today my morning was most auspicious. Today I felt the presence of great auspiciousness. Today I must have gotten up at a most auspicious moment, for I have directly seen Premanidhi with my own eyes." Thereafter, Sri Premanidhi regained his external consciousness. Recognizing his Lord, he offered obeisances. He offered obeisances to Shri Advaita Prabhu and then offered appropriate love and devotion to everyone else. All the devotees were filled with ecstasy on seeing Pundarika, who was such an ocean of love. Only the most fortunate Vyasadeva is qualified to describe the love and devotion that manifested at that time. Then Gadadhara asked the Lord for permission to take mantra initiation from Pundarika. I did not understand his unfathomable characteristics, and thus some disrespect arose in my heart. Therefore, I wish to become his disciple, for the spiritual master will certainly forgive the offenses of his disciple. The Lord was satisfied on hearing the words of Gadadhara and said, "Do it quickly, do it quickly." Thereafter, Gadadhara took initiation from Premanidhi with full satisfaction. What more can I say about the glories of Pundarik, who had such a disciple as Gadadhara? He was the topmost devotee. I have thus described a few topics regarding Pundarika Vidyanidhi. My only desire is that I may see him someday. Pundarika and Gadadhara were the ideal spiritual master and disciple. They were both dear to Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Anyone who reads or hears about the meeting of Pundarika and Gadadhara obtains the wealth of love. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends our English translation of the Gaudiya Bhasha commentary on Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kanda, Chapter 7, entitled The Meeting of Gadadhara and Pundarik. Chapter 8, The Manifestation of Opulences. Okay, we'll skip the chapter summary, and we'll begin this chapter. We're in the Madhya Lila, of course, right now. Oh, big chapter summary, okay. All glories to Shri Gaura Sundara, the life and soul of all. All glories to the abode of Nityananda and Advaita's love. All glories to the life of Shri Jagadananda and Shri Garba. All glories to the life and wealth of Shri Pundarika Vidyanidhi. All glories to the Lord of Jagadish and Gopinath. May all the devotees of Lord Gaurachandra be glorified. In this way, Shri Gauranga Rai constantly enjoyed various pastimes with Nityananda and Navadvip. All the devotees accompanied Advaita in jubilant dancing and loud chanting of the names of Krishna. Nityananda continued to reside in the house of Srivasa Pandit. He was constantly in the mood of a child and did not manifest any other mood. He would not eat rice with his own hands, so Malini, this is the wife of Srivasa Thakura, fed him like her own son. The chaste Malini knew well the glories of Nityananda, therefore she served him as a mother serves her son. One day the Lord was sitting and discussing topics of Krishna with Srivasa. In order to test Srivasa, Lord Vishwambara said, "Why are you letting this avaduta," that's of course, that means someone like the wind, Nityananda, "stay in your home?" So an avaduta is a person who is completely devoid of bodily urges and appears like an inert matter. I know you are very magnanimous, but we do not know which caste and which family it belongs to. If you want to protect your own caste and family, then you should immediately get rid of this avaduta. Lord Chaitanya's test. Srivasa Pandita smiled and said, "O Lord, it is not proper for you to test me. If anyone worships you for a day, he is my life and soul. Nityananda is your body, and I'm witness of this fact. Even if Nityananda holds a pot of wine, associates with women, spoils my caste, life, and wealth, still my faith will not waver. This is a fact I am telling you." Not in other versions of the stories, it says that even if Nityananda goes to a liquor shop or he marries a Muslim girl. When the Lord heard this from the mouth of Srivasa, he got up, roared loudly, and embraced him to his chest. "O Pandit Srivasa, what did you say? You have so much faith in Nityananda. You've understood my confidential associate Nityananda. Therefore, I am most pleased with you and desire to give you a benediction. Even if Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, begs alms from door to door, you will never be afflicted with poverty. Everyone in your house, including the dogs and cats, will have unflinching devotion to me." So there's another version of that story. that Lord Chaitanya asked, another version is that Lord Chaitanya asked Srivasa, how do you maintain yourself? And Srivasa Thakura said, I have this 1, 2, 3 technique. If I have to fast for 3 days, I'm going to tie a stone to me and I'm going to drown myself in the Ganges. And then Lord Chaitanya said basically the same thing. Even if the goddess of fortune goes begging, you will never have any lack in your house. Even though Srivasa Thakura never worked. Of course, that doesn't apply for us. We have to work for our maintenance. I'm offering Nityananda to you. Please take care of him in all respects. I would like to be offering Nityananda too. After giving this benediction to Srivasa, the Lord returned home. Nityananda continued to wander throughout Nadia. Sometimes he swam in the Ganges, and sometimes he happily floated in the current. Sometimes he played with the boys, and sometimes he went to the houses of Gangadas and Murari. Sometimes he rushed to the Lord's house, where Mother Sachi showered him with affection. In the mood of a child, Nityananda tried to catch hold of Mother Sachi's feet, but she would run away. One day, Mother Sachi had a dream, which she narrated to her son Vishwambara in a solitary place. Early this morning, I had a dream in which I saw you and Nityananda. Both of you appeared like 5-year-old boys. You were quarreling together and chasing each other. In this way, you both entered the deity room and came out holding Krishna and Balaram in your hands. He had Krishna in his hands and you had Balaram. Then I clearly saw the 4 of you quarreling together. The deities of Krishna and Balaram angrily said, "Who are you, impostors? Get out of here." This house, these rooms, this sandesh, this yogurt, and this milk all belong to us. Then Nityananda said, those days when you stole yogurt and butter to eat are gone. The days of the coward boys are over. Now the Brahmanas have taken charge. Recognize us and allow us to enjoy all the offerings. If you do not affectionately allow us to eat, then you will be beaten. Moreover, if we forcibly eat, who can stop us? Then Rama and Krishna said, it will not be our fault if we bind you impostors here today. Then Balaram threatened Nityananda, in the name of Krishna, you better not misbehave today. Nityananda replied, I am not afraid of your Krishna, for my Lord is Gaurachandra Vishwambara. In this way, the 4 of you quarreled and forcibly ate each other's food. Someone grabbed another's food and ate, and someone ate the food from another's mouth with his own mouth. Then Nityananda called me and said, oh, mother, please give me some rice. I am hungry. When Nityananda said this to me, I woke up. But I could not understand anything, so I'm relating the story to you. On hearing the topics of her dream, Lord Vishwambara laughed and spoke to his mother in sweet words. Oh, mother, you have certainly seen a most auspicious dream. Please do not disclose this to anyone, although we know about it. The deities of our house are full of life, and your dream has firmly established the fact in my heart. I often see that half of the foods that I offer vanish. Feeling shy, I don't tell anyone about this. I had some doubt about your daughter-in-law, but today that doubt has been removed. About her cooking, whether the Lord was actually eating her cooking. Vishnu Priya, the mother of the universe, smiled on hearing the words of her husband. She had heard the entire narration of the dream from within another room. Vishwambara said, oh, mother, please hear my words. Let us immediately call Nityananda here to feed him. Mother Sachi was pleased to hear these words of her son and began gathering the ingredients for lunch. Lord Vishwambara quickly went to Nityananda's residence and invited him for lunch. Oh, Goswami, today you should take lunch at our house, but I tell you beforehand, do not create any mischief. Nityananda held his ears and said, Vishnu, Vishnu, this is standard. When someone is actually apologizing or something, they hold the bottom of their ears, the earlobe. Only madmen create mischief. I think you consider me a mischief monger because you think everyone is like yourself. Speaking in this way, they both began to laugh. They then proceeded to the Lord's house while discussing topics of Krishna on the way. So with that in mind, we will stop for the day and take questions after I allow everybody to unmute yourselves. Really an interesting discussion today. Really, really interesting. Okay, so as the standard goes, you can either raise your hand and I'll call on you, or you can unmute yourself or you can type in the chat window. So, does anyone have any questions? You can officially ask questions now. Jagat, you have a question.
Can we understand from Pundarika Vidyanidhi's symptoms that he has a connection with Madhavendra Puri?
Yeah, I guess so, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that anybody who manifested those particular symptoms must have a connection with Madhavendra Puri. Yes, that's actually a good point. Very, very good point. Yeah, he must have had a connection with Madhavendra Puri, because Madhavendra Puri actually traveled all over Bengal, and he had even been before Lord. I mean, he was Bengali, so this is way before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then of course Lord Chaitanya Madhavendra Puri initiated Ishwara Puri. So yeah, must be either that or he was initiated by one of Madhavendra Puri's disciples, like Ishwara Puri, or another one of Madhavendra Puri's disciples. Hard to say. I don't have any information about it. So, okay. Who else has a question? Goralila. Okay. Your question?
Gurudev, please accept
Sounds
my
good.
humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna. So, what's the question?
Gurudev, I actually was thinking when I heard the previous chapter about Gadadhar Pandit. He used to go to school with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes. And then I was just thinking, it is so beautiful. We wish like we could go to school with Krishna. But then, even though Gadadhar Pandit was so close, like he was in the same school, he would play. And I remember some pastimes that you have told. Uh, Guru Chaitanya Mahaprabhu still had the mercy to say that, okay, you have to take an initiation from Pundarika Vidyanidhi as a spiritual master.
Yeah.
It it's it's astounding that even though people are close to Krishna, Krishna still says, no, you have to go to my devotees, and you get mercy from them, and then come back to me.
Yes, that's true. I mean, actually, as we said many times before, Krishna says, as someone who says is my devotee is not my devotee, but someone who says is devotee of my devotee is my devotee. So yes, that's true. Even though he was directly with Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, still Lord Chaitanya wanted him to take initiation from someone else, not him. Good point. Okay, good question. So, okay, who else has a question? Raise your hand. Oh, here's another one. Someone asked, I never heard who Madhavendra Puri is in the spiritual world. That's actually a good question. I have no idea. Maybe if I ever go back to the spiritual world, which is highly unlikely, I will find out. So, who else has a question? Any questions? So going once. Okay, I guess no one has a question, so we can end a little early. Static, the static part of the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Of course, I always say that every part of the Chaitanya Bhagavat is ecstatic. It's nice to read it like this. Whew. Really amazing. You learn a lot more about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates just by hearing about their characteristics and interactions. And especially about Lord Nityananda. I mean, he's so attractive. His being a rascal is very attractive. Very cheeky, rascal, just very, very attractive. Okay, I think, oh, Chelsea, you have a question. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, somehow, yesterday, just when you were reading Chaitanya Bhagavat and then chanting Gayatri, and then the line where we chant, the Lord Chaitanya Vishvambar and everything, it just really came, at least for a moment for me, it came really alive because we're using all these names and telling all the pastimes, and it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, hearing the pastimes helps us connect with the chanting, with the Hare Krishna mantra or any other mantras that we're chanting. Or Prabhupada. You know, if you read about the Leelamrita, it helps us connect with Prabhupada's pastimes when we chant Nama Om Vishnupadaya or Namaste Saraswati Devi. It's nice. Okay, on that happy note, we will end. So all glory is to His divine grace, Srila